Here we go. Basic computing. What do I mean by that? Oops. Basic computing. Well, number one, what really is a computer, right? What does it consist of? Have you ever thought about that? Well, if you didn't know, a computer represents a couple of things. Every computer has these aspects: a CPU, RAM, and disk. Okay? These things represent what's inside your laptop, for example. A CPU, I guess you can say it's like the brain of the computer. Okay? Does all what's called the processing for doing things and initiating tasks, you can say, on a laptop. The RAM also stands for random access memory. It's almost like short-term memory, you could say. Short-term memory, okay? Things that are initiated by the CPU, that are processed by the CPU, are often in the RAM when they get going, so that's accessible to you as the user. Okay, and that's called RAM, random access memory. Now, depending on how many, what they call gigabytes of RAM you have, determines how many things you can run at one time, typically. All right, and how powerful your CPU is determines how hard your computer can think. Okay, and we have the disk. I guess you can say that's kind of like long-term memory. Long-term memory, right? So that's when you want to save something. Something that can be represented on disk is, for example, when you save a file, right? Say you're working on something in Microsoft Word, for example, or any program, you save it to disk. That means you save the file, and it's in what's called your file system, so you can double click it and open it, right? That represents saving something to disk. When we say disk, from your computer's hardware perspective, like the anatomy of the computer, in each computer there is a disk. It's actually not just represents a concept of accessing your file, but it represents a physical piece of hardware on your computer. There is a disk represented in some way, shape, or form in every computer, in your laptop right now. Okay? Now, there we go. So CPU, the brain, RAM, short-term memory, and the disk basically represents long-term memory. All right, that is basic computing for you. All right, so we got one checked off here. We're gonna check that off. Here we go.